Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. It's been a little minute. I can't lie to y'all. I took a little time off, man, just to kind of get my mind right. Not only that, but just also making sure that we bring guests that we probably haven't had on the show, something that's new, something that's interesting. So I'm super pumped about this guest, man. It was actually a recommendation. So the biggest thing, man, is this show is based off recommendations or people that I personally reached out to. So when you are recommended, man, do not take that for granted because somebody that was on this show thought highly of you that said, man, this person is super dope. You need to have him on the show, man. And I'm glad we was able to do it, get you on. So let me introduce the guest, all right? So we got Shawn Beach, age 30, career. He's an author and business owner. College, he went to college at USC, got his degree in retail management, all right? Years in the profession, officially 1 full year as an entrepreneur, but he's had other businesses in the past. So if you can combine all that time and knowledge and just different business, he's probably been in the game for a lot longer than a year. But professionally for a year, you probably learn a lot. You probably go through some ups and downs. Hopefully we can get some tips and tricks for future entrepreneurs and people that are authors and things of that nature, so they can take and learn from it. But before we start, Shawn, say what's up to the podcast.
What's up? Man, I'm happy to be here. Armand, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want me to shout out the person that recommended me.
Yeah.
But, hey, Big Jada, much love to you, Yeah, that's my dog right there.
Word.
Can't wait.
That's what's up, man. Jada was great, man. I think our conversation was phenomenal, man. She hit on a lot of different topics, just really went in depth. And I think because she's a podcast host herself, so she's like, she dives into it. So I was like, man, I'm glad I had her. But shout out to her for recommending you, man. But it wouldn't be Big Boss Talk, the podcast, if we didn't do two truths and a lie. Like, that's our icebreaker. That's our go-to. So hopefully you got 3 good statements and I can guess this lie.
Okay, 2 truths and a lie. Hey, 2 truths and a lie. Okay. I swallowed a penny when I was a baby and remember doing it. I played football freshman through junior year in high school. And I played with the cloth as an action figure when I was a child.
Okay, got you. So if I heard that correctly, you swallowed a penny when you were a baby and you remember doing it. I think, what was the second one? The second one was
football freshman through junior year in high school.
Freshman through football year. Okay, got you. Junior year, high school. And then the third one was you played with the actual claw?
Like a cloth.
Cloth, like just a regular cloth.
Yeah, like cloth.
Okay. Now that's kind of tough. The first one I think is true, because it's like, I mean, you wouldn't forget nothing like that. Like, that's very detailed, like to swallow a penny. I think that's true. It might not have been a penny. It could have been a quarter. So that's like where you throwing me off at right there.
No, bro.
You never know. So, okay. The second one, I think that's true. You look like you could have been a wide out. You know what I'm saying? Hands. Or you deep, you know what I'm saying? Defensive back. Let me think. Man, I'm gonna say the first one is the I don't wanna go first, but I'm gonna say the first one is a lie. Like, and the only reason I'm gonna say it's a lie because I'm just thinking like, all right, maybe it's not a penny, maybe you throwing me off somewhere, maybe it's something else you swallowed that was similar. But I'm gonna say swallowing a penny as a baby is a lie, and remembering it, like, that's crazy. So I'm gonna say that's the lie.
That's your final answer? I mean,
yeah, that's the final answer. He tried to throw me off.
Hey, I'm just seeing how confident you are in your pick, bro.
I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I mean, that's wrong. That's wrong. Dog, I remember it, bro. I remember doing it. Yep. It was, remember back in the day, the air vents used to be on the ground in the house?
Yeah.
So I remember, crazy. Like, I remember going in there, reaching my hand in there, putting it in my mouth, falling over. And I just see my mom rushing in the room, and that's it. I forgot everything else.
Oh, my God. Bro, what? Okay, so then what's the lie?
Bro, I never played football in high
You
school.
never played? I should have, man.
Oh, look, bro, like you see these arms, bro?
Listen,
Like,
what? Hey, listen, it don't matter, man. Listen, what really got me was when you started running. I was like, I don't
yeah,
know. When you was running
yeah,
in place, I was like, I don't know. Maybe he was a football guy.
yeah.
But
I hooped and played lacrosse, but
okay,
I didn't
lacrosse,
play
that's
football.
different. How you get into lacrosse?
Bro, so they brought it to our school, man. Like they brought it to our school when I was a junior.
Okay,
And so up until that point, I was playing basketball my whole life, and all my friends decided to leave whatever sport we were playing and join the lacrosse team. Do something cool on our way out of high school.
yeah.
First year, we lost every game, and then we lost every game,
Every game.
every game.
Was it fun?
It was fun though. Yeah, it was
Okay,
fun.
okay,
And then we practiced all summer and came back and we're doing our thing next year, doing better at least. So
okay. That's
yeah,
hard. Okay, that's hard. Well, dang. Well, I appreciate it, man. I lost. Anybody that's watching this, that's gonna be listening to this, I took another L. So I'm gonna bounce back, man. Next time I'm gonna bounce
yeah,
back. But
yeah,
cool,
yeah.
man. So I got a couple of questions, man. Right. So I like to do like some preliminary questions just so people can get to know you a little bit, right? So first question is, what's the best advice someone has ever given you?
That's the advice someone's ever given me. Um, um, be yourself.
Mm. And
Yeah,
why did that stick with you?
because like in a world where there's so many things we can be doing and so many opportunities you hear about, which is the good side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Flip side is like not all these opportunities are for you.
That's a
And
fact.
so, being yourself and taking on opportunities that are meant for you is key. We're not supposed to be doing everything.
Right. So
Mhm.
has there ever been a moment where you were presented maybe an opportunity and you was like, nah, that ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that ain't for me. And like, what? How did you know it wasn't for you? Because I feel like a lot of times, like, I'll take it like this, like, certain examples, like when offered money, right? A lot of people will always jump at the opportunity to do something because it offers some type of financial value versus like sometimes sitting back and saying like, does this really fit me, fit my brand, or fit what I'm about? Because I've done it. Like I've struggled with it before, especially because I didn't have a lot of money growing up. So it's like I want to make sure that I continue to make money, but I've definitely found myself in situations or doing things that didn't align with maybe my brand or my values, and but I still did it because of the money. So like, can you give me what's an example where you had to kind of really like say no or not really go
Mhm.
for it?
Yeah, I remember. So it's actually coming up on a year, like, just being a full on entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the course of that, there's, especially the beginning, there's temptation to like go back into another job just to, feel safe.
Yeah.
And, you just have to like remember to stay the course in that and stay like, I'm not telling people on here not to get a job,
Right.
especially if you need money to fund your dreams. But what I am saying is like, if you're in a position where you're moving full heartedly in your purpose, you can't just get off of that just for a quick dollar,
Right.
here or there.
Yeah. I think that's hard, man. Like it's hard to decipher when to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's situation is a little different, and obviously, like you said, like I never tell anybody not to get a job. I think having a job or working for someone is probably the best way to get into entrepreneurship if you wasn't already like raised around it, because you learn so
Yeah.
much from the actual
Mhm.
corporation that you work at. Like you learn how to treat people, you learn how to manage people, you learn how to work with people.
Right.
um so it's just hard when as entrepreneurs talk, it's like you can't be scared, you can't go back, even though you're gonna have temptation to go back, to get that security. It's just like, how do you tell people to take that leap of faith and believe in themselves, to take their dreams serious enough to like, you can do this, you can keep going, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's your advice? Like, how do you personally just keep that mindset of like, I gotta keep going, I gotta keep pushing?
Armand, I'm gonna do you something better. I'm gonna give a tip to everybody out there who, you're in a position where you know you need money, but you also know what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Get a job in something that aligns with what you want to do. So now, not only are you making money, but like you said, you're learning from a structure and infrastructure. Um, you're either getting advice or seeing examples about the business similar to a path that you want to be on.
Right.
So yeah, so whether you want to open up, I don't know, I'm just thinking of something. You want to open up your own car wash
Yeah.
and you need some money, go work at a car wash.
Yeah. It's that
Because now
simple.
you're, yeah,
It
yeah,
when you put it in like that, it's really that simple. I think pride gets in the way of everybody though. Like the pride and ego gets away because like most people, it depends on your background or your situation. You go to school 4 years and you're like, man, I don't deserve nothing less than
yeah,
75. I remember when I was going through school, everybody was like, man, I gotta get out of here. I'm getting 75K and up. You know what I'm saying? But then you get into the real world and it's really 55. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 48.
yeah,
Starting out, and then you got to work your way up. So a lot of people had to learn to lower those expectations because like when you get into the real world, things work a little bit differently. They operate a little bit differently. So I mean, I appreciate that advice, man. I think it's very useful. Like for me, I take that advice and try to how can I apply it into what I got going on. And it's just like for me, I think you know when you can take that step. You know what I mean? Like when you could leave that security and say, all right, I'm going full fledged. If you already got doubts, I mean, you're gonna have doubts regardless, but if you know for sure, like, I got bills, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't making no money from your side hustle like you want to yet, don't drop out. I feel like that's a crazy thing to do.
yeah,
Like don't mess yourself up like that.
bro. Yeah, you gotta like, man, like, have a little like. That's why it's good to have money, in your pocket. To have a
Mm-hmm.
little, if you have a little nest egg where you can take a leap of faith and survive on that little nest egg for a second as you're building your business. That's a good place to be in. So.
Facts. So then my next question. What is I mean we kind of hit on it a little bit, but just what's your mission slash purpose? You know what I'm saying? And like I know that's a deep question, but I love to pick people's brain on like their mission and purpose. What's yours?
I'm here to inspire. I'm here to encourage not only children but people all over the world to use their creativity and their imaginations. So.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Why, like, when I listen to people talk about their mission and purpose, it always leads to helping others. Like,
Mhm.
no matter what people say, like my mission and purpose is to help others. Like, and I don't know why. Like, it's crazy when you move with such a deep purpose and deep mission. I think it gives you that extra gear to like, no matter what adversity you might hit, it's like I'm doing it for these kids. And you've been in the school system, so I know you know what I'm saying, seeing these smiles that kids bring, like the energy that you get from them, like just working with them, seeing you like, have some type of small imprint. It may not be super huge, but it might be Shawn where, man, Mr. Shawn was cool, Mr. Beach was cool. Like, is he coming back? Is he gonna read? Whatever it is, like it's crazy how everybody like when you talk to people that really dream big, like are like dreamers, like their whole mission is to help people, to help inspire people. And I think for the most part, that's what we all are put on this earth to do in some shape, form, or fashion. It doesn't have to be, with a business. It doesn't have to be, entrepreneur. It could be anything. Just, your web of people. How do you ensure that you're always inspiring your web of people or the people that you are in contact with every single day?
I think the biggest way to inspire is like via being an actual example, being like about action.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing like to just tell somebody you'll do something, but it's another thing when someone can see you actually doing it. And even with the students I mentor, people I talk to, you know, um, some of these kids don't think it's possible until they see somebody doing it. You know, and man, what you got on your shirt is that's everything, bro. Like like me moving and you moving with faith encourages the other person to move with faith.
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I think that's dope, man. I've been on this kick of just trying to get like I try my best to get my homies to like speak more about how they feel or like the things that they may go through as far as like healthy conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because we as guys, we can always kind of keep it surface level,
Yeah.
and I try to go a little bit beyond just the surface, but it is hard to do that. But I think when you talk about lead by example, like I hope that me creating a platform like this or doing just little different things like me always trying to strive to be good, be better. Like I hope for my little brothers and little sisters that they see me and they like, man, if my big brother can do it, like I know I can. Like, and I think that's what it took because I'm trying to think of the time like who I saw that really did that for me, and I can't really think of a person. I think it was me watching like I'm a movie buff, so like when I watch Rocky, I'm like Italian stallion. He can, go in the ring, can't box, but he can beat Creed. He can beat Drago that killed Creed. I'm like, yo, like if he can do it, like I can do it. Even if it's fake. Like I didn't even have to. I think my biggest thing was like I believed in what people told me. I actually believe like you could do whatever you put your mind to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't actually believe that. They think it's just talk. But
Right.
when you
Right.
actually believe it, it's pretty dope. So, my next question is, what has been your biggest pivot in your life? Like your biggest, where you might have been down and you just kind of had to pivot, learn, and bounce back even better. Like what has been your biggest pivot in life?
Mm-hmm. Biggest pivot. So in college, I had another business called Dope Junkyard. So
Okay.
now I got Cartoon Junkyard, but back in the day, a few people watching this may know I had Dope Junkyard in college, which was, selling T-shirts and clothing. And, I really thought that that was the way. And then when it wasn't panning out the way I had planned for it to, I was just like, man, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I know I have a bigger calling and I'm supposed to be doing something.
Yeah.
And so I just, I had to sit back and talk with God for a couple of years and listen to when God was showing and revealing things in my life, you know. And I also had to move with faith to make that pivot
Yeah.
and go Cartoon Junkyard
That's dope.
instead of just just giving up completely and never doing anything.
So I guess what was the change of dope
Mhm.
junkyard and then now cartoon? What was that change that you saw? Because I know you said you were doing T-shirts and everything. Was that the change? Like you were doing merch and now we're doing more, books. The author side of things.
Yeah, the biggest change was that like my love for cartoons. I've always been a big kid. I'm still a big kid, and I was making cartoons in college. I just didn't do anything with them. Like Jam and Jelly, I had this idea since college,
Oh, that's crazy.
but I just didn't do anything with it. And the best shift, and the best part about all of this is that Dope Junkyard, like, still love Dope Junkyard, but I felt like it was materialistic in a way. It was
Mm-hmm.
just based on clothing. But now Cartoon Junkyard is actually like helping people. It's actually teaching lessons. It's actually like inspiring people and doing things that Dope Junkyard did not do at
Yeah.
that time. So
I call that it's more sticky. Like
yeah.
in business, like so what I do for pretty much for work is just like we try to acquire different businesses, but we try to sell products and things, give them the whole package because it makes them a little bit more sticky to stay with us. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to move everything and just move around. So like when you were talking, it just seemed like you found more of a purpose in
Mhm.
Cartoon Junkyard versus like the dope. What'd you
Dope
say?
Junkyard.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So, and for me, Big Boss Talk, it's always been Big Boss Talk, but the subject matter changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so initially, the subject matter was me talking about my personal issues growing up as far as like single parent homes, things of that nature. But at some point, I was like, I mean, everybody kind of could have a similar story. Some people can relate, but it's gonna run out at some point. So I was like, how can I be more impactful, more intentional, and be more purposeful? And it's like kids are the future, kids are the wave, and like if you can find positive people like yourself, and other people that I've talked to be able to impact those kids. I feel like it helps transition the world in a way better place than maybe where we think it's going or where it could be at right now. So I definitely relate to the pivot and the change,
Yeah.
just because when you have that mission and that, it just helps you keep getting up every single day and fighting that battle.
That
Um,
part. Yeah. Yeah.
what makes some of the best entrepreneurs? Can you be a self-taught entrepreneur? I think most people are. Or does the best entrepreneur come from someone being raised around entrepreneurship? It's almost a similar talk track as like when people say I got that dog in me. Like, is a
Yeah.
dog created? Is it, does he have to be born with that intensity? Like, you tell me what you think about what makes the best
Mhm.
entrepreneur.
Best entrepreneur, man. I can't like pick a side on that. I can't pick a side because there's been both throughout
Yeah,
the course of history. But for me, I've been the person that I didn't really grow up around entrepreneurship and seeing entrepreneurship like on a day to day basis.
mm-hmm.
I was more so the person that just I had always had a hunger in me,
Yeah,
like whether I was in sports or whatever the case may be. I always felt like I had this hunger and this willing to like go out there and get it.
yeah,
And so like, and just seeing like my mom getting up for work early in the morning, going on that shift when I'd be scared at the house and just watching her. I'd be
yeah,
scared for her,
yeah.
just leaving so early in the morning or late at night, and just having that motivation always around me.
That's crazy, man. Like, it's so parallel when you sit and talk to people. Like when you could relate to a little bit of almost everything that you're saying. Like, my mom got two kids, had me the first one at 20 years old, and I kind of remember, like, I try to remember when I was 20. I'm like, man, ain't no way I could just sit down and like take. I mean, I probably could, but like to have the discipline to sit down and have kids, like take care of them,
Yeah.
raise them, and then she had the audacity at like 27, 28 to kind of go back to school, get a degree, get us a better situation. So it's like things like that. I might not have, like you said, may not have grown around it, but you have, we've seen good examples of determination and
Right.
drive to really get what you want. So it's funny when you said that, because it's like, I think, like you said, entrepreneurship, you can come from either side of the fence and really be good. It just all depends on your personal tenacity, what you bring to the table.
Mhm.
And why do you feel like people may not? I feel like it used to be, it was a lot of judgment on entrepreneurships, and I think the judgment came because when we find things like as a community, we jump on it super quick and we're quick to tell like how great it's working. But then there's a lot of us that are very skeptical of entrepreneurship and be like, it don't work like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't move that fast. Um, I'm trying to figure out where I was going somewhere with this question, but it's just like, what do you hate the most that people say about entrepreneurship? What they put down upon entrepreneurship.
Mm. Like when somebody's talking negative about
Yeah, like
entrepreneurship.
negative, like, because it used to be a thing where people were always like nah, like entrepreneurship is not for everybody. But I remember a specific point where, like, if you were to say like, I'm an entrepreneur, I got this business, and people would just look at you like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't become like, I'm trying to just figure out like, when did it become cool to necessarily
Yeah.
be an entrepreneur? You know what I mean? Like, when did it become the thing to do? Like, do you remember a time where it just shifted?
Bro, I think in our community, like it wasn't taught that it was a cool thing to do. But in other communities where
Yeah.
you have uh, the prosperity level up here,
Mm-hmm.
they've been owning businesses. It just hasn't hit our community until recently over the course of these years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's like part of the plan that was in
Yeah.
place to
Yeah.
like. I'm sure when you think about it, like we came, back in the day, we came here as enslaved people,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and we weren't supposed to have any opportunity.
No, at all.
So maybe it's been instilled in our community all that whole time. You know, don't take that leap of faith. Don't do things.
Yeah, because
And
they
yeah,
they knew.
like you, yeah, and like you said, it's not for everybody. You know, entrepreneurship isn't for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think like I don't think there's anything like negative I can say about it or negative that I've heard about it recently. You know, you always have naysayers, but those are people who typically just bounce from different businesses to different businesses and just don't stay in one long enough.
Yeah, for it to pan out.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna move the conversation forward, man. I appreciate just chopping it up. Just having a little conversation about it, and just answering those questions. But what did Shawn, what did young Shawn Beach want to be growing up, man? Like, did you always have that entrepreneur? Did you? I mean, what did? Yeah, just tell me. What did you want to be growing up? Because I know what I wanted to be does not align with what I'm doing now. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious of like what you wanted to be and how you even changed courses, or even maybe you stuck the course, like you always knew you was gonna own something, or be an entrepreneur. Like, is that the case?
Yeah, I would say maybe since like into high school, like I just knew that I always wanted to like have some kind of ownership in something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, my mom, I'm just very blessed to have a mom that I have who's always made me feel like I could do anything.
Yeah.
Like today, I could tell you, like, if I wanted to go to space, I could go to space. Like, if I wanted to run for president, I feel like I could run for president. Like, she just instilled that in me. And yeah, I just felt like, I always wanted some kind of ownership for some reason,
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, what
That's
about you?
dope.
What did you want to be when you were younger?
Man, listen, man, I was supposed to be a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I was a mechanical engineer is because, like, for the longest, like, my uncle, he was a civil engineer. And so, like, I'm a grandma's baby. Like, my grandma, that's my lady. So she loved my uncle because that's like her firstborn, that's the son. And then she had my mom, which is her daughter. But, I think it's a little different, like, when moms have that first boy, that first son, like, it just that connection. And so he was the talk in the family, every time, like, my uncle, lived in Virginia. He lives in Texas. Like, he was just the guy. And so I was like, man, I think I could, I want to be an engineer. I'm good at math. I could do a little, I'm intuitive with my hands. I love gadgets. I'm like, I could do this. And then I found out in college that, it wasn't for me. I'm not saying I couldn't do it. I just had to take trigonometry 1 and 2 in the same semester while playing sport. And I was like, this ain't going to work out. So I had to change and adjust quickly to a mass comm major, which is crazy now to think about it, because I've always loved to talk and just love to socialize. And my wife gets on me now, like, she's just your social butterfly. And I'm like, I mean, I'm good at talking to people. I don't think I might be a social butterfly, who knows? But that's what I wanted to be, a mechanical engineer. And then it changed. And now, but I've always had that inkling of wanting to be, it was a boss, right? But I don't want to say wanted to be a boss. I just wanted to have something of my own that could help impact people. That was it. You know what I mean? Like, I thought, because you always heard the word boss, be a boss or whatever. But when I think about being a boss, like, I got a boss now still, 9 to 5, and all they do is kind of like tell me what to do. So I don't necessarily want to be a boss, but I do want to have boss-like qualities where I can provide something to be able to help somebody else, or, maybe bring somebody along. And that was my whole mission, ever since being little. So it is wild to talk about. And the only reason why I talk about what you wanted to be growing, like, from a younger age to now, is because I talk to a lot of college people, kids that, people that graduated college, and they witnessed like their first depression, like a year after college, because they had such, I'm doing this at, 21. I'm gonna be here at 23. I'm gonna be married by 24. We have kids. Like, they had these big plans, and then it's like, boom, they get hit with life. And so they go through their first phase of depression. And I want people to understand that depression stage, it's okay, to have those feelings, but I think you also have to learn to have goals, but don't like I don't go in. I have goals, but I can't tell you how I'm gonna get there. You know what I mean? Like I can have an idea, but I know God gonna do something crazy to my life, and He gonna switch it all the way around, and I'm like, what? Like you made me go all the way around here to get here, versus when I thought I was just gonna go here. Like, and that's why I asked that question because I think it's important for kids to understand like you can change your mind at any time. You know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
when you talk to kids or when you're in front of kids, like what is your mission with Jam and Jelly?
Mhm. Yeah, Jam and Jelly. So there's different life lessons in each book,
Mm-hmm.
but the overall like meaning between the characters in Jam and Jelly varies. Like Jam represents the side of that's adventurous, the side that's willing to take risks. Jelly's the side that's not so risky.
Gotcha.
Jelly's usually underestimated.
Yeah.
And so both of those sides represent the dichotomy of being a person. I deal with both of those sides all the time.
Yeah.
And like some kids may resonate a lot with Jelly.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because when I start off reading a book, I'm always like, yo, raise your hand if you think you're gonna like this character versus this character.
Yeah.
All the kids raise their hand for Jam at the beginning. And I read the book and then you see a lot of kids raising their hand for Jelly
Wow.
because kids feel that like, being underestimated and, you know, like taking a risk might not be something that they're used to, or,
Mm-hmm.
they want to kind of just, they don't want to think. They become like around the age of, around the time they get in later on in middle school, later on in elementary school, kids, I see a shift. Kids become a little less willing to think out of the box,
Yeah.
to be risky. Like it's not cool to think out of the box for some reason anymore.
Yeah. What?
So
Where? How did? I noticed that it happened for me. Like, why does society like when you come out when you're a child like you think you can do everything, but then
mhm.
like at that certain age that you're talking about, it's like you kind of shell up a little bit, right? I mean, why do you think that is? You just think that's just natural society teachings, or I mean, it could be anything. I kind of know in my mind where it could come from. I know where my sense of cage then kind of came from, but for you working with kids and maybe hearing their stories, or I don't know, like what do you think is the majority thing that happens to those kids?
Well, like a child is like fearless as they start out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not until, you know, they put their hand on the stove and see that it's hot.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I don't want to, put my hand on the stove anymore.
Right.
Or, ouch, the door just hit me and that hurts. I don't want to do that anymore. They see something or feel something, where they kind of back off of whatever it is, like they go outside and they get hit with the storm or the weather outside,
Mm-hmm.
and then that changes everything.
That's
So
crazy.
it's hard as a child, as a kid, you as an adult we learn to keep going, but as a child this could be like hard to keep going when these things happen in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true, man. I it's like you could go so many ways with it. It could be like sometimes overprotective parenting. It's just so many different things. And when you're dealing with kids, like you can't tell parents or people how to really raise their kids. It's like you just got to give them that life. However you feel is best suited for your child. That's how you got to coach and really mentor them through life. But for me, I think there's principles that I would like to teach my kids as far as like never be scared to fail. Like that's one of the biggest things is like never be scared to fail and don't worry about what people think about you. I think those are the two things that stop people from ultimately going for their goals and thinking outside of the box. And like I don't know how I'm gonna instill that in my kids, or I even try to lead that by example for my friends because I can still see them still scared, like sitting on a great idea, a grand idea, but they're so scared that what people gonna think about them. Oh, it has to be perfect for it to jump off. Everything has to
Right.
be in alignment. So like, I guess for you, it being in a situation whether you want to have kids in the future or not, like how would you go about making sure that your child or the kids that you mentor, you know, don't have that fear or don't feel caged in.
Yeah, like I said, just being that example. Like I can just tell them about my life, and they can see my life and see that like I've hit roadblocks, I've hit speed bumps, but that's what life is. Life is doing that.
Yeah.
Like going up the stairs, tripping up while you're going up the stairs. All of these things are a step on your ladder,
Mm-hmm.
upwards.
Yeah.
And so as long as you just keep going, just keep taking a step forward, even if you trip up, keep taking a step forward. Just keep taking a step forward, one step every day. There's been so many times where I failed at things in front of the public too.
Mm.
Like, Armand, I'm known, like, people know me, man. I've done all of these businesses in the past
Yeah.
to the public.
Yeah.
And so, but they don't remember you for the things that didn't work.
Right.
At the end of the day, people remember you for the things that do work.
That's crazy that you said that, bro. Like being like, because everybody's gonna know when you start something, right? Because that's, you put so much attention on it jumping off and starting, but then over time you start to, the reasons why I failed or not, whether you jump from a different opportunity than what you were in, it just didn't work out, whatever, you know, they remember when you started it, and all they remember is like, dang, wasn't he doing this at first? Now he's doing this, or doing that. How did you overcome the naysayers or the people, like, because like you said, people know you, they know Shawn. Like I remember Shawn from Dope, from back in the day in college. But now he's an author now. Like he's talking to kids. Like I ain't see that for Shawn. Like how do you deal with that pressure of just in the eyes of social media?
I just don't care, bro. I just do not care, dog. I just do not care. Like it's that simple for me. I just do not care because everything I've tried has led me to this. When I tried things, I'm like, oh, this is not for me. Like I don't even need to waste a couple more years doing this. I know it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, stuck my foot here and stuck my foot here just to realize, oh, this is not for me. Maybe I'll take some information out of this. Maybe I'll take some information out of that.
Yeah.
But everything has led to this. And it doesn't make sense sometimes when you're going through something, but it always makes sense when you look back.
Yeah.
So,
that's crazy, for sure, man. And then I know we hit on a little bit about Jam and Jelly, the characters. How hard was it for you to really put these stories together, or really, bring it all together? Like, do you have more stories that you're coming up with? What is your dream, or what's the idea of how far you want to go with Jam and Jelly?
Yeah, so Cartoon Junkyard is
Cartoon Junkyard?
Name of my company. So Cartoon Junkyard is going to be the next big thing. You heard it here first.
Yeah. We're gonna run this back.
The plan is to do, turn Jam and Jelly into fruit snacks, cereal, board games, TV show.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of books coming. There's other series that will be under Cartoon Junkyard. And it's easy for me because it's, Big God has given me this gift. Like I'm really doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like when we started off the show and we did the 2 Truths and a Lie.
Yeah.
I've been playing with that cloth since I've been 5 years old. Like every day I would leave school, I go home. I couldn't wait to get home and play with that cloth because with that cloth, I'm making different ideas. I'm making movies in my head with that little cloth, hours and hours and hours. And so I've always had these ideas, and it's natural for me. Like it's one of the easiest things I've ever done is to come up with these ideas for the books.
That's crazy, man. Hey, man, listen, I heard it here first, man. Cartoon Junkyard is gonna be huge. It's gonna be crazy. Listen, man, I was just thinking to myself the other day, because I have an idea that I've drawn out for a board game, right? For me, how I can get into the schools and really have something to bring and offer. And so I would love to, off screen collaborate as far as like picking your brain on how you going about creating your board game and the things that you got going on, because it's harder than people think, but it's dope though. Like I think it's gonna be a dope experience. But going back to Cartoon Junkyard, like because there's entrepreneurs, there's kids that wanna own their own thing. They wanna be creative just like you, man. Like they have ideas just like you. And it doesn't mean just because your idea is similar doesn't mean there's not a space for you. I feel like there's a space for everybody to do exactly
Right.
what they want to do, even if it's similar, because there's billions of people on Earth, and all you need is your little sliver of it, sliver of those multi-several billions of people to be fruitful, to to add value, to be impactful. Um, but what would be your advice for someone that wants to start their own business? Like, what is the first thing they need to get done or get set up when starting a business?
Okay. Like, so first,
Like, first order
they,
of business. Like, right, we got the idea, right? They got an idea of what they want to do, but I think is what I'm asking is more about the paperwork side, right? Like the,
paperwork side of
you
it.
know what I mean? Because that's, you can have an idea all you want, but you want to cover yourself, or cover your idea so it's not being taken, or
Right.
things of
That
that
part.
nature. So like, just what was your, like, what would you say is the first thing you should do when you have an idea, as far as like the legality side of it?
Mm. So my advice, this is just my advice, but I would, if you have a, say if you're forming, you have an idea,
Mm-hmm.
figure out if it's going to be an LLC, S corp, whatever it is. I only have experience in the LLC side of it.
Okay.
Go ahead and register your company name as an LLC, and then as soon as you do that, you go ahead and trademark your idea. The reason why I'm saying get an LLC first is because, at least what I did is, I got the LLC created, Cartoon Junkyard, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm registering my trademarks under the LLC, like
Yeah.
Cartoon Junkyard. So those are the two biggest things. Once you have something trademarked, I mean, that just helps out tremendously. And then there's copyrights, of course, but trademarking, man, is the biggest thing, because there's thousands of trademarks, probably more than thousands happening every day.
Yeah.
So you might wake up one night with like, wow, I got this idea, this name for this company. You want to get to trademarking it pretty much as fast as you can.
Yeah. Because it's a
Because
it's a process.
that process takes a while now. Everybody started businesses over COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to get on that.
That's good advice, man. I think you gave good advice, but I know, like, with the advice you gave is deeper than just saying like, get you an LLC, then get you copyrighted, so the copyright is under the LLC. And because once you've been in the space long enough, you hear so much advice, right? And I know, like, because I'm in the LLC space, and so like for me, it's like having my next goal is having a trust that everything falls under, because there are certain legal protections and legal benefits when having a trust and following that structure of the trust, LLC, DBAs, all that good stuff. But for the kids out there, man, like you said, Shawn just gave you a perfect gem. It's like, if you got an idea, just go ahead and get your LLC, right? Get that started, and then trademark. What's crazy is the reason why, like, by doing these interviews, I feel like it's my purpose, because every time I don't do these interviews to get anything out of it. Do these interviews to share information from other people, because I know people may not be like, who is Armand? Like, I could give two crazy things about Armand, but Shawn, I know Shawn, so I'm gonna listen to Shawn give me this game, and then I'm gonna take it and run with it. And so by doing this podcast, man, I talked to a professional trademarker, and by just talking to her, man, she was like, we had an interview, and she, at the end of the interview, she was like, man, I appreciate your story and what your purpose behind it, and she ended up doing me a trademark for free.
What? Hey.
So, but you know how expensive trademarks are.
Yeah.
So think about that. And I'm pretty sure you've had moments in your journey of things where people done things out of just their heart. Like, you don't know why they did it. You wasn't expecting them to do it. Like, I was not expecting her to just say, yeah, like, I love what you're doing. I like your purpose. Like, what I want to do is I want to offer you a free trademark on the spot. I said, what? I was speechless. But you'll get, like, when you are walking, and like I say, I'm pretty sure you have these moments when you're walking in your purpose, or you're walking in that fulfillment of doing what you know God has called you to do. There'll be people and things along the way that will remind you of, like, just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Just keep pushing. And like, I see you smiling. What have you ran across a moment like that where you was just like, I know, yeah, this is me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be just a feeling, like, what was it for you that made you be like, man, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do now. Like I've had so many ideas in the past, right, that people know me for, but this one right here, Cartoon Junkyard, this is the one. Like, what was a moment like that for you? And then we're coming to the tail end of the conversation, man, and we'll get up out of here. But what was that one thing for you?
Yeah, all the time when I hear like the kids just talking about the book and what the book is doing for them and inspiring in them. I mean, you can escape. Like I think that's why I like doing this so much, is because it's like it's like my own planet. You know what I
Yep,
mean? It's
yep.
like it's my own planet where I can just have fun, and the kids are seeing the possibilities, and that's those little moments all the time are just confirmation for me, because like you, man, I want to like shout you out, bro, because like you're walking in a purpose and you're on the side of people who are doing things to impact and help others. And as long as you're on that side of wanting to do something for the right reasons, impacting and helping, you'll always be blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And God always gonna have you. Things are gonna continue to be happening in your life because your purpose is to help people.
Bro, that means a
So
lot, man. That like when people speak, you know what I'm saying? Like it just means a lot, man, when you hear from somebody like, we similar, man. Like I know we come from different backgrounds or whatever, but at the end of the day, like we bleed the same, you know, we're the same, we're black men in America. So like just having people that can speak over you and just letting you know, like, even you manifested what Cartoon Junkyard was right here. There's so many people that have manifested what they wanted to be in their business. Whether they get there or not, that's on them. But when it does happen, because it's out in the atmosphere, like I can't wait to just be able to run the tape back and be like, bro, you said it. So it's like it's done. You know what I mean? And so it's the same thing for you, man. Like I just love, when people come on here with their dreams. Like I always say, like this is Big Boss Talk is a safe space for dreamers because dreams are so delicate. You know what I'm saying? So if you have an idea, there's no dream that's too big to be on this platform. If you feel like you can do it, then let's talk about how you can do it. And I'm rooting for you to do it because it's like I talked to the first person that said they was gonna do that. So it's like, I can't wait for Cartoon Junkyard to be what it is in your mind. And even what it is in your mind is gonna be 10 times bigger than that. Because that's just how it always works, man. Like people, we start off thinking so small. And then when you just moving and you operating the way you operate, it becomes something that's astronomically way bigger than what you ever thought it would be. So like, bro, Cartoon Junkyard is gonna be super dope. I can't wait, man. Especially the fruit snack. I'm a fruit snack man, so I'm definitely getting me some fruit snacks in the board game for sure. But tell people like how can we get with how can they follow you? What can they follow you at? How can we get Jam and Jelly books, man? Because I got goddaughters and nieces and nephews. So like, where can we cop that and get that merch, man?
right, the main source is the website. So www.cartoonjunkyard.com, and on all social media platforms at Cartoon Junkyard. I'm more so heavier on Instagram and Facebook, but
Okay,
I'm on everything. So yeah,
for
it's
sure.
pretty simple.
For sure, man. I guess I don't have anything, man. Like I said, man, I think we hit on a lot of different topics. I'm just so thankful that you were able to get on here, man. We talked about everything from the beginning, the entrepreneurship, just how your story through entrepreneurship. We definitely gotta get you back again because we can definitely. I know so many ways we can go into more detail about certain things, but I think for my viewers and for the kids, like that preliminary, just the surface level of getting to know you and what you have to offer, and then they can check you out on your personal page and just start to follow you there and really build that community. Like I just hope whoever's listening, watching, they follow you and can be inspired and be a part of your community, just as they were inspired and be a part of mine. So thank you, man. If you have any promotion that you need to get done, and this is one thing about us that I hope everybody knows that when you come on the show, it's not transactional with me. I don't want you to think this is like, oh, you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like we're acquaintances now. Like I'm rooting for you, and so whatever you posting on
Vice versa.
Cartoon Junkyard, I'm trying to reshare. I'm trying to repost just because that's what this platform is for. So you can check out my page, man. Like anybody I work with, I try to repost and share their stuff because they were a part of the family. But the last thing I need to know is recommendations, bro. I need 1 to 2 people that you feel like is dope to get on this podcast and really just give their kind of like life spiel and kind of what they do to the kids.
Yeah. Oh man, I know for sure. Best friend David. He has a business he just launched about a month or 2 ago.
Okay.
Who else, man? There's so many people I know. Jeez, I might have to.
Bro, you can send me as many as you want. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna get with you because I'm definitely like I love looking out for people around me, and so yeah, I'm gonna think on that and get back with you.
That's dope, man. That's all I ask. If you could just send me as you start thinking of people, send me the
Got some
IG. Just send me their IG profile, and then just hit them up and just be like, hey, I just got off Big Boss Talk. He's probably gonna hit you up. They can say yes or no. They're not obligated to say yes, but I'm just definitely gonna reach out to them and ask and see if they're available, and we can move forward from there.
My boy Scotty.
Okay.
He's a chef. He was one of the people that I first saw take the lead in like entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's cool. I ain't never had a chef, so I need that. I need that. So we'll get that done. But bro, blessings, on your journey, man. Just keep going. I'm rooting for you from afar, man. I know we just met each other, but just know I'm rooting for you because I know how hard it is to keep a dream alive, man. I know it's hard, especially when people want to tear you down. So keep going. I can't wait to see Cartoon Junkyard. We definitely got to cop some jam and jelly. So, man, thank you.
Sure. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I'll be back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have a good night, all right?
You too, brother.
All right, man.